You do this opening, it's Jakarta. What was the reason for it?
Well, one of the things that we can do in television that we can't really do in something that is ongoing, like a movie or a video game where somebody can play all night long if they choose, we have episodes. That means we have starts and stops.
Mm-hmm.
And the beautiful thing about stopping is you get to start again. Every start is a new opportunity to reorient people or to disorient people. I mean, I'm particularly fond of disorientation. It's something I've been watching Vince Gilligan do this forever, where you have this 5-6 minutes of the beginning of every episode of television where the audience is the most open and receptive they'll ever be. They are willing to be confused, mystified, puzzled, as long as you get them ultimately on solid ground. And I think we knew we wanted to give a little bit more of an origin story. We wanted to see what it would really be like at the very, very beginning, because we're all pretty smart about this stuff now. And we wanted to show also that it was global. It's really important for me to make the audience understand there's nothing you can do at that point that is going to make this better other than the unthinkable.
That's one of the beauties of that scene, which is like, again, in the game, you walk through what we call the outskirts of the quarantine zone, this area that was bombed to oblivion to try to control this outbreak. And even that didn't work. And here you get to see, how could someone reach that decision?
Yeah. The first shot that we see of Ellie, she's bathed in this warm light in the fetal position, camera spinning over her. And then she wakes up and you have Joel and Tess on high alert.
That was like one of those, that is definitely one of those moments where, out of pesky questions, you know, because if she is infected, and they have every reason to believe she is, then they need to be ready to shoot her.
She made it through the fucking night.
It doesn't matter. It's gonna happen sooner or later. All right, we're still close to the wall. We sneak her back into the QZ. We find a different way to get the battery.
This is our best shot.
Love about that scene is you start to see an interesting difference between Tess and Joel. And the difference is Tess has hope, which I love because it feels like a surprise. She seems so tough. She seems like she has assimilated into this new world quite well. I mean, she's getting beaten up and she's like, whatever. And she deals in trades in arms. She runs the show between her and Joel. Clearly, she's the boss. And here suddenly, she is expressing hope.
Talk about the casting of Pedro Pascal.
Well, you know, there's an old saying that you write a movie 4 times: when you write it, when you cast it, when you shoot it, when you edit it. And casting seems like, wow, that's on the same level as writing and shooting, editing? Absolutely. Really good screen actors also have an incredible sense of where they are in the frame and how close the camera is and how subtle they need to be, because the littlest things will get picked up. There's a moment towards the end of this episode where Tess reveals that she's infected. And Pedro, as Joel says, show me. And she takes a step forward before showing him, and he flinches.
It made me angry. I watched it. It made me angry because I was like, fuck, that's so good. It's so good what he does.
I get to work with like hundreds of people that are at the top of their game. These are the best people you can get for TV. Like, I got Craig Mazin. I got like all these people that are so in demand, and they want to make The Last of Us. That's the thing they want to work on for the next 200-day grueling shoot. Walking on set, I could feel that love, and it made me emotional to see that and feel it.
But I'm curious for you, transitioning from just this white stage with 64 cameras all around and your actors are walking around in these weird spandex suits, to now being on a set where the sets are practical, the props are practical, the actors are in wardrobe.
The big difference is you have to plan everything ahead of time on a TV show in a way you don't in the game. In the game, we do this performance capture. Everybody's wearing these funny suits with these balls. And then once you get their performance and you kind of have it in 3D, you can place the camera wherever you want. You could change their costume. You could change the set. You could even change the character.
Right.
Can't do that on a TV show. You can to some degree with VFX, but for the most part, the frame you have is going to be pretty much your final frame. So there's all this prep work you have to do ahead of time. You're meeting with like all the department heads, whether it's like special effects, whether it's the costume, whether it's the set, whether it's the actors, and like doing a table read with them. Just so then you can get to that moment where like, okay, everything's ready to go. And you say action. And then you hold your breath and hope it all comes together in the way that you've envisioned it. And when it does, it's this incredible high that you're like, oh my God, we all came together. There's this camaraderie, this collaboration that just feels amazing there.
Well, it's something to me as a viewer, whenever you leave an audience wondering what's going to happen next, that's exactly where you want to leave them.
That's TV for you. That's what we do.
Goodbye.